Well, this reportedly took quite the shocking turn. Harry allegedly handed his cancer-stricken father a blunt ultimatum, essentially saying, "Give me what I want or you'll never meet your grandchildren." Unsurprisingly, the demand grabbed major attention and left plenty of people stunned. But what happened next reportedly caught everyone completely off guard. Charles didn't argue, didn't beg, and certainly didn't lash out. Instead, he remained silent, and that silence ended up saying absolutely everything. Now here's what was reportedly said, and trust me, once it's laid out plainly, it's much easier to see why critics reacted so intensely. According to remarks widely discussed across the media, Harry reportedly indicated that without taxpayer-funded armed security, he would not bring the children to visit the king. Instead, he suggested traveling by himself. That comment immediately ignited debate, with some observers arguing it sounded like far more than a routine conversation about travel arrangements. To critics, it came across as pressure wrapped up as a practical solution, and that interpretation sparked yet another round of controversy, speculation, and very public discussion. Critics twisted the situation in a brutally harsh way, calling it basically, "Pay up, father, or you'll go to your grave never knowing your grandchildren," allegation framing. That framing reportedly struck many people as deeply troubling. Allegedly, spending time with grandchildren should remain a simple family matter, not something tied to conditions or disputes ongoing. There shouldn't be a negotiation or a list of terms attached to a family visit, critics argued. And that's exactly why this controversy sparked such a strong reaction. Critics are now loudly claiming Harry has turned a private family fallout into a full-blown public circus. In their eyes, the issue has been dragged through nonstop media coverage and flashy headlines, exposing a deeply personal matter right in the spotlight. Critics say this is exactly where Harry may have made his biggest miscalculation yet. The moment a royal dispute is fought through newspaper interviews and headline warfare, everything becomes far more complicated. In their view, the king cannot appear to shift official matters just because of pressure from his own son, and many believe that was never a realistic outcome as public debate intensified across the board. Some royal watchers suggest Charles may have taken a very different approach, one aimed at avoiding confrontation altogether. And the more attention the issue gets, the more people believe the king has quietly settled on a response Harry never expected at all in this situation reportedly. Some commentators believe Charles has chosen to step back from the entire dispute rather than engage directly with it. But here's what keeps fueling debate among critics. They argue there were ways these concerns could have been handled privately, away from headlines, cameras, and constant public scrutiny. So the question people keep asking is simple. If a quieter path existed, why wasn't it taken according to critics now? Critics point to what they see as a simpler alternative that may have always been available. They note Harry frequently traveled by private aircraft, which is why some observers question whether a more discreet arrangement could have been made. In their view, the children could have flown directly to Scotland with minimal public attention, reportedly could work. Some royal commentators also suggest secure transportation could have been arranged for the journey to Balmoral, since much of that route would involve royal property or controlled areas. They argue the logistics may not be as difficult as the public debate sometimes suggests critics and analysts claim. Supporters of that viewpoint argue that once on the Balmoral estate, the family would be surrounded by extensive security measures and high privacy levels. They point out the estate is enormous, offering plenty of space away from public attention and media cameras in such claims. In that scenario, the focus would not be on headlines or controversy. Instead, it could simply be a grandfather spending time with his grandchildren during a quiet summer visit while the opportunity remains. Given Balmoral's size, critics note there would be little reason to leave the estate at all reportedly. Critics argue that a short visit could in theory be arranged without the large-scale operation people imagine. A couple of days, a private stay, and limited travel. That is the scenario they point to. From that perspective, they believe security concerns for a specific family visit could potentially be managed, which is why some commentators remain unconvinced this dispute is only about logistics of one trip. That debate has led many observers to ask a bigger question: what is this disagreement really about according to critics here? Critics have put forward their own answer, arguing it goes beyond a single visit or event. In their view, the central issue is status and the long-term question of official protection. More specifically, some believe the focus is securing permanent taxpayer-funded security arrangements rather than temporary measures. According to that argument, the dispute is about whether such protection should continue indefinitely wherever Harry lives or travels in the future. That interpretation has fueled so much public discussion and controversy, keeping the debate alive across every major outlet worldwide coverage. Critics say this is the part that has triggered some of the strongest reactions from the public. According to that viewpoint, any long-term security arrangement would not only be relevant during Charles's reign. They argue it could remain a subject of debate well into the future, even after William becomes king. Critics argue that securing a permanent arrangement is the real objective at the center of this dispute. In their view, the debate is less about a brief family meeting and more about long-term guarantees that would remain in place for years to come. Those commentators also question claims about the level of risk involved, arguing parts of the public narrative have not matched the facts as they see them. That is why they believe the controversy is really about something much bigger than this simple visit between family members themselves reportedly. Critics often point to examples they believe weaken the security argument. They note Harry has traveled to high-risk locations, including Ukraine, completing those trips without major incident. They also point out that Meghan has made public trips alone, which some observers cite when questioning how serious the security concerns are in other situations. Those comparisons have become a major part of the ongoing debate, as critics insist now. Critics are still dragging up international trips, even places such as Australia itself. As part of their argument, critics say whenever travel becomes a priority, practical security arrangements usually get sorted out without turning into a major public spectacle reportedly seen. Because of that, some commentators stay skeptical and argue security may not be the only factor driving this controversy still. That belief has only fueled more attention and speculation around the ongoing debate. Critics insist security was never the main issue at the heart of this dispute allegedly. They point out that for visits to the UK, security arrangements can be reviewed and assessed through established procedures whenever advance notice is given. In their view, there are already formal processes in place to evaluate what level of protection may be appropriate for any visit reportedly. They also note that members of the royal family are usually surrounded by significant security measures when attending events or spending time with the king, which is why this aspect of the debate continues to attract so much attention and discussion. I think you have to look at yourself as haters are screaming that this messy drama isn't even about security details for one shady trip, but rather about long-term royal protection and how that drama unfolds forever. That petty feud is keeping the public totally divided while keeping this massive scandal trending everywhere. But hold on, because this royal mess gets even wilder. A massive wave of messy commentators stopped asking why Harry won't bring those poor kids and started obsessing over a completely different bombshell. Will those children ever actually get a single second of quality family time with the king? That explosive question is causing absolute chaos across TikTok, shady blogs, and messy forums. Meanwhile, a million wild conspiracy theories are exploding online about why these secret meetings keep getting canceled. However, most of those desperate claims are completely unverified fan fiction rather than actual facts. What we know for sure is that this endless mystery is feeding nonstop internet drama, with toxic fans constantly arguing over who is actually blocking this tragic family reunion. And that is exactly where the online conspiracy theories get completely out of hand. Some users claim that if a secret royal meeting actually happened, certain ancient rumors would finally be exposed and destroyed. Others are taking this drama way too far, spreading wild lies across comment sections. But let's be real. These desperate claims are totally fake news, and absolutely zero receipts have been produced to back them up. Whether you believe that garbage or ignore it completely, one thing is totally obvious. This chaos has evolved into a massive monster. Check any comment section right now, and you will find toxic fans fighting endlessly over the exact same petty questions. Hidden beneath that literal circus is another tragic detail that keeps popping up. While everyone is crying about whether King Charles will ever see his grandkids, some savage critics are pointing out that another broken grandfather is being completely erased from this entire circus. What makes this feud even more toxic is that everyone keeps dragging Thomas Markle, Meghan's father, into this royal disaster. They love pointing out how he has been brutally ghosted by his own daughter and completely banned from those kids' lives. A sad reality that keeps getting major sympathy from random bystanders. Because of that nightmare, a savage question keeps trending everywhere. If that broken relationship is still completely ruined, why is anyone shocked by this massive drama involving the other royals? It is a messy comparison that is sparking brutal fights and wild opinions everywhere. The reason this toxic topic keeps trending is because major channels are finally exposing Harry's role in these choices. A popular narrative being pushed by key insiders claims he completely lost his power over how these family disasters are run. That embarrassing rumor is spreading like wildfire online, with people portraying a totally defeated man who is trapped by crazy drama and unable to breathe without permission. It is a juicy narrative that will definitely keep feeding the internet trolls.